Good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court Criminal Docket for November 29, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, would you call our next case, please?
In cause number 2019-0D05097, State of Texas versus Jesus Lorenzo Garcia. Announcement of counsel, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
And Myrna Pages for Mr. Jesus Garcia, ready as well, Your Honor.
And do you recognize your client appearing from the jail annex, Ms. Pages?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, this is Judge Perez. I have us down, although we were originally set for a final hearing plea deadline, I understand through negotiations you all have agreed made a plea agreement. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with your plea. I need to swear you in, so would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
Jesus Lorenzo Garcia, 9/10/81.
Mr. Garcia, as I mentioned, pursuant to our plea today, there are documents you should have reviewed with your attorney. The first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in this case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Garcia, do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand everything contained within the document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pages, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
I have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
I did.
You believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pages, any reason to believe your client isn't presently competent to enter his plea?
No reason at all, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, Your Honor.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who's found you mentally ill?
No, Your Honor.
So based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where were you born?
El Paso, Texas.
Okay, in this case, you were charged by indictment with the 3rd-degree felony offense of driving while intoxicated, 3rd or more offense. Sir, to that charge, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Ms. Rago, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. State of Texas versus Jesus Lorenzo Garcia and cause number ending in 5097. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about the 15th day of September 2019 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, Jesus Lorenzo Garcia, hereafter referred to as a defendant, did then and there operate a motor vehicle in a public place while the said defendant was intoxicated. In addition, it's further presented in and to the said court prior to the commission of this offense that on April 11, 2000, in cause number 990C14565 in County Court Law number 6 in El Paso County, the defendant was convicted of an offense relating to operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. And on March 13, 2015, in cause number 2010-0C11477, in County Court Law number 7 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, the defendant was convicted of an offense relating to operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. At this time, the state moves to enter into evidence States Exhibit 1 and 2. The plea agreement is 2 years TDC, Your Honor.
Ms. Pages, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And I assume you were going to say no objection to States 1 and 2?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, so States 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Garcia, was that your understanding of the plea agreement as well? 2 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the 1-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Garcia, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. I will find you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more offense, and I will sentence you according to the plea agreement to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institution Division. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. Is there anything further, Ms. Pages or Ms. Rago?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, if the judgment can reflect or that he be given credit from when he was booked, which is September 16th of 2019 to September 23rd of 2019, and then rebooked May 14th of this year to present, Your Honor, if the court can give him credit for that time.
I will.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Thank you very much. You all are excused. Oh, well, I don't know, Ms. Pages, if you have more. Good luck to you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next?
And next, may we have Jose Acosta.
Mr. Lozano, are you doing this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's get started.
In cause number 2022-0D02834 and 2022-0D02833 and 2022-0D02798 and 2022-0D01585, State of Texas versus Jose Angel Acosta, announcement and counsel, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State Attorney, Your Honor.
Cesar Lozano, on behalf of Mr. Jose Angel Acosta, ready to proceed?
Mr. Lozano, do you recognize your client appearing from the jail annex?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Acosta, this is Judge Perez. I have us down for pleas in each of these cases. Is that your understanding of what we're doing today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to need to swear you in so we can start your pleas. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Would you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Jose Angel Acosta, March 9, 1990.
Mr. Acosta, in each of these cases, there were documents that you should have reviewed with your attorneys. The first of which, again, one for each case, was marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Acosta, do you recall reviewing plea papers for each of these cases with your attorneys and signing those documents?
No, Your Honor.
Did you say no?
No, I say yes. I just.
Oh, okay. I need you to speak up, okay? Because it's kind of hard to hear. Okay, so you did review the plea papers.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Did you understand everything contained within those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lozano, have you had more than 10 days to prepare defenses in each of these cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
I did.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his pleas today?
I believe that he did, Your Honor.
Mr. Acosta, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lozano, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his pleas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Acosta, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, Your Honor.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No.
I need a verbal answer, sir.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your pleas today. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where were you born?
Here in El Paso?
Okay, in El Paso, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go through these cases. In cause number ending 2834, I understand although you were initially indicted for a third-degree felony through negotiations, the plea is to the lesser included state jail felony of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. To that charge, sir, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In cause number ending 2833, state jail felony, unauthorized use of a vehicle. To that charge, sir, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In cause number ending 2798, state jail felony, possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. What is your plea?
Guilty.
And in cause number ending 1585, let's see, was that also a lesser included, Ms. Rago? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, again, originally it was a third-degree felony, but they reduced it to the state jail possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. What is your plea there?
Guilty.
Are you making each of your pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will find you are making your pleas freely and voluntarily. Ms. Rago, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. State of Texas versus Jose Angel Acosta and cause number ending in 2798. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt the honor about the 21st day of October 2021 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, Jose Angel Acosta, later referred to as the defendant, did then and there intentionally or knowingly possess a controlled substance, namely cocaine having an aggregate weight, including adulterants or dilutants, in less than 1 gram. Now moving on to cause number ending in 1585, state of Texas versus Jose Angel Acosta. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt the honor about the 7th day of October 2021 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, Jose Angel Acosta did then and there intentionally or knowingly possess a controlled substance, namely cocaine having an aggregate weight, including adulterants or dilutants, in the amount of 1 gram or more, but less than 4 grams. And the agreement was reduced to less than 1 gram, Your Honor. Now moving on to cause number ending in 2834, state of Texas versus Jose Angel Acosta. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt the honor about the 24th day of November 2021 in El Paso County in the state of Texas. Jose Angel Acosta did then and there or intentionally or knowingly possess a controlled substance, namely cocaine having an aggregate weight, including adulterants or dilutants in the amount of 1 gram or more, but less than 4 grams. The agreement was reducing it to less than 1 gram, which is a lesser, Your Honor. Now moving on to the cause number ending in 2833, state of Texas versus Jose Angel Acosta. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt the honor about the 28th day of January 2022 in El Paso County in the state of Texas. The defendant did then and there intentionally or knowingly operate a motor vehicle, to wit, a Chevrolet automobile without the effective consent of Jose Diaz, the owner thereof. Your Honor, the agreement is a 1244A, 365 days in the county jail, court costs in 2022 0D02834, 2022 0D02798, 2022 0D02833, and 2022 0D01585 are all to run concurrent. At this time, the state moves to enter into evidence States Exhibit 1 and 2 if there's no objections.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 1 and 2 are admitted in each of these cases. Mr. Lozano, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Acosta, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your pleas. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal these cases except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the 1-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because these are plea bargained or negotiated cases, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Acosta, do you recall reviewing this trial court certification with your attorney and signing those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
They were signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your pleas of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your pleas and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. In cause number ending 2834, I will find you guilty of the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, in an amount less than 1 gram. In cause number ending 2833, I will find you guilty of unauthorized use of a vehicle. In cause number ending 2798, I will find you guilty of possession of a controlled substance and penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. And that will be the same for cause number ending 1585, guilty of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. In each of these cases, I will follow the plea agreement and sentence you according to 1244A of the Texas Penal Code to 365 days confinement in the El Paso County Detention Facility. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served, and all the sentences will run concurrent with one another. Is there anything further, Mr. Lozano or Ms. Rago?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Acosta. Thank you very much. Mr. Lozano, do you have anything else? Oh, Mr. Acosta.
Yes, if this is gonna count since I got arrested on February, my back time?
So I haven't looked at his jail time, Mr. Lozano. Do you know? Or Ms. Nieto, can you go ahead and tell me what he has credit?
Let me check, Your Honor, just a moment.
Thank you.
Each case is going to have a little bit of different credits because I'm seeing multiple arrests. There was an arrest on the unauthorized use of a vehicle, January 29th of 2022 for 4 days credit. And then some kind of federal arrest. And then this last in custody is from July 27th of 2022 for 126 days credit. And that one does have all of the cases. So I'd have to go and look up, run the warrants for each case that he pled to.
Yeah,
So I don't have the total time right now.
Yeah, and Your Honor, I think that's, I'm glad my client was able to point that out. He never was released. So while he had these cases pending, he was in federal custody. So if we look at that federal date where he gets detained, he's never been released from custody at that point while these cases are pending. So I think the question is, or what we're trying to ask the court is if the court would consider giving him credit towards all that time that he's been in custody, because these cases were pending while he was.
So everything predates whatever booking they have on the Fed side. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. That's exactly.
Marissa, is that what you're seeing?
I'd have to check the date of offense, Your Honor. It doesn't show it like that. It just shows that he was only in federal custody. It doesn't have that he had any kind of detainers or anything. So I'd have to research it.
Okay. So so we're not even, are you not able to tell, for example, when we say that these cases were pending, had he ever been booked on them? So for example, I know you mentioned on 2833, you showed like 4 days in January, and then I guess he goes under federal detention, but the other cases, had he ever been booked on them? So on 2834, 2798, or 1585?
No, Your Honor, because the first booking I'm showing for those right now is the July booking. But I can see when the warrant went through, but again, I'd have to go through the jailing side to find that.
Okay. Okay. Was that reflected on the plea paperwork at all, that you all were anticipating having that be credited? I don't recall seeing that on the plea paperwork.
It wasn't, Your Honor, but they did give us a judgment, and we were aware that he was in federal custody.
Okay, so I don't have a problem if the cases were all predated and filed before his federal booking. I don't have a problem giving him that credit. I just don't know what that's going to be right now. So, Mr. Acosta, I don't know if you need to get with your attorney afterward. I'm not sure what the clerk is going to tell me. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Lozano, if you all want to stick around while we're on this jail docket, we'll get back to it. I have a lot of other hearings.
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Acosta.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next?
Top of page 17, Judge. Annex, may we have Alvarez, Joseph?
This Miss King. There she is. Okay. Go ahead.
Because number 2021-002640, State of Texas versus Joseph Angel Alvarez. Announcement of council, please.
Robert King for the state of Texas. State is ready. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Greg Anderson for Mr. Alvarez, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And Mr. Alvarez is appearing remotely from the jail annex. This is a status conference we scheduled to follow up on various discovery issues. Let me ask Ms. King, Mr. Anderson, how are we doing on those?
Your Honor, I've been provided, I believe, all the materials that I need at this point for purposes of pursuing motions to suppress. And I have indeed filed a second supplemental motion to suppress, which includes all the, I think it includes all the motions to suppress that I'm interested in. So we're ready to proceed on it, and we'll just need some additional time to prepare the testimony for purposes of the geofence suppression motion.
Okay. And indeed, we did informally discuss a potential date, I think, for that motion to suppress being, oh Lord, was it January 9th?
I believe that was the date, Your Honor.
January 9th. So we have, if it's not already scheduled, it will be scheduled for an in-person suppression hearing on January 9th of 2023. So we need to arrange for transport for that. I did see that the supplemental motion was filed, I think, yesterday. I don't know if there will be any additional related issues or anything. I guess my concern is going to be this: if we have anything else that is going to require a hearing considering our trial date, please make sure you file those things very quickly. With the holidays, scheduling is difficult, so I would like to make sure that we hear anything that we need to on that January date. Okay.
I'll
Ms.
do
Keith, are you
so.
going to say something?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sounds good with me.
Okay, so it looks like we're on track and we have our backup date. If there isn't anything else, then I'll go ahead and let you all go. And we'll see you in January. We have a, I'm sorry, sir?
One thing that I wanted to say.
Hold on a second, Mr. Anderson. It looks, I don't know if you can see your client on the device you're holding, but he is trying to speak.
Yes, Mr. Alvarez, please allow me to do all the dialogue with the court, because in light of the fact that we, that this is being recorded. I will be coming to see you. I'm currently out of town, but I'm going to come see you this Friday. And then if there's anything that you want me to address with the court, please allow me to do so, okay?
If you are needing a breakout room, we can do that, Mr. Anderson, today, but it really will be at the end of the of today's hearings, just because we have so many hearings. In addition to that, I think I misspoke. I said we had a December 7th, but we don't. I was thinking of a February setting. If you need a setting before January 9th for whatever reason, please request it quickly so we can try and fit you in, okay?
I will do so. And Mr. Alvarez, I will come see you this Friday and you can express whatever it is that any concerns that you have, if that's right with you.
Okay, so if you need a hearing based on that, Mr. Anderson, let us know.
I will do so. And are we done with this hearing, Your Honor?
We are. You all are
Okay.
excused if you don't have anything else. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I have a matter on Thursday, which I'll actually be on plane. Miss Rago and I have reached an agreement where the client is going to plead to a misdemeanor, and he's going to
I'm
be
sorry,
sent
we
to
lost
the.
your audio. We lost your audio. Who are you talking about?
He's not on the docket, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
But he's on Thursday, and he's going to be sent to BHRTC upon his plea to a misdemeanor on a subsequent case. We've already had conversations regarding that.
Okay.
Would you like, is it okay if I just set that for a plea, or would you like for me to get an attorney to cover that hearing Thursday?
So I would say call Myrna and set it for a plea, and then I'll look at going past that hearing. So as long as we have a date, okay?
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll get in touch with Myrna.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Bye-bye.
Who's next? Thank you, Ms. King. Do you have anything else?
Yes,
No,
Your
Judge.
Honor.
I do.
Oh,
Okay.
I just have 2 more cases, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right.
Back on page 13, Judge.
Uh-huh.
In cause number 2020-0D05170, State of Texas versus Joshua Abraham Munoz. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Ms. Caballero, are you there?
Your Honor, she's trying to log on.
Okay, so we can come back to that one. Let's go to the
Okay,
next.
thank you.
Mhm. Actually, Ms. Romero, let me make sure. Ms. Romero, are you there? Or did she leave?
I'm here, Judge.
Okay, so I have you scheduled for a bond hearing on Mr. Huerta, but he's not in custody. He never turned himself in. So,
Yes, Your Honor.
So I made that notation. I mean, is he logged in, Mr. Marufo?
No, Judge.
Okay, so we're gonna set him for a probation status hearing. in, let me see, in 2 weeks.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
And
the
I'll work
warrant-
with Ms. Rago, and the warrants are still active. I
Yeah,
understand.
they are. Yeah, okay. So I just want to make sure we weren't coming back on a bond hearing for any reason.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you, Judge.
so we're good to go. So Mr. Huerta's taken care of. Who's next?
Middle of page 919, Judge.
Mhm.
Annex, may we have Cifuentes, Carlos Cifuentes?
Oh, Mr. Cifuentes, okay, let's go.
In cause number 2022-0D0-1212, State of Texas versus Carlos Alberto Cifuentes. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas. State is ready.
Justin Underwood on behalf of Mr. Cifuentes. I'm ready, Judge. I do see my client and I do recognize that that is Mr. Cifuentes there.
Perfect. So we're set for a status conference. I know when we met last, or the court heard from you, Mr. Underwood, about getting an expert, and I see you all filed a motion that day. Have you identified someone?
Judge, we've narrowed it down. So as far as that palm and fingerprint expert, I've narrowed it down to 2 people. And I'm just waiting on confirmation from the ballistics expert. She has been used extensively throughout the state of Texas and has testified in El Paso County before. And so I would imagine us filing notice or motions for that would include the names and contact information of those experts probably in the next 30 days.
Okay, so we are not due to, well, we come back on January 10th. So that'll be a good
Sure.
marker for me if you will
Yes, ma'am.
have that, because that'll put us right about a month before our trial. Let me ask, how are we looking for that? Why do I feel like that's going to be a really quick turnaround?
I can tell the court with zero hesitation, just because I haven't, the experts, I mean, this court knows how it goes as far as preparing experts and stuff. I can't speak for the state, but I don't know that either of us would be ready for trial at the beginning of February, considering where we're at.
What I'll tell you is for that January hearing, if that's what we're also going to need to discuss, let's have it be informed. So in other words, have a good idea of what a realistic backup date is going to be, whatever else we have outstanding. Let's go ahead and knock it out in January and not wait.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all righty. So let me know when you figure out who the person is. We still have that motion outstanding.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I will. And the other thing is I checked portal and we still don't have a recommendation from the state. I don't know if the state is going to make one. I just wanted to reach out and see if that's going to be something that the state's going to do or not do. I mean, it's up to them, but.
Ms. King, what's the rec?
Judge, I will post a recommendation in the next 2 weeks. The
Okay.
state will have a recommendation.
All righty, sounds good.
Mr.
All right.
Cifuentes, I will be out to chat with you soon.
All right.
All righty,
Okay.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood. Who's
Yes,
next?
Judge.
I believe Ms. Caballero is in. In cause
Thank you.
number 2020-0D0-5170, State of Texas versus Joshua Abraham Munoz. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Teresa Caballero on behalf of Mr. Munoz.
Okay, is Mr. Munoz? I thought it was the other client. that
Judge,
we-
it was supposed to be Mr. Rodriguez
Right,
on your
right.
jail docket.
Right, yeah, that's not the right client.
Rodriguez Joseph, Your Honor.
Yes, Annex.
Rodriguez Joseph. Coming right on.
Mm, no, I thought it was Juan Antonio Rodriguez.
Juan Antonio
Right, Mr.
Rodriguez. Annex.
Rodriguez.
Yes,
Yeah. Juan Antonio Rodriguez. Yeah.
okay, is that Mr. Juan Antonio Rodriguez?
Yes, Your
Okay, go ahead and call it, Mr. Marufo.
in cause number 2021-0D03011, State of Texas versus Juan Antonio Rodriguez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas. State is ready.
Teresa Caballero on behalf of Mr. Rodriguez, ready?
And Mr. Rodriguez is appearing from the jail annex. I thought I had us down. What were we set for today? Was it a final
Judge.
hearing, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was a final hearing plea deadline. And so let me ask, Ms. King, do we have a rec in this case?
Not at this moment, Your Honor. And I checked, it is set for a status conference today.
Status conference. Okay. All right. So let me see. Okay, so, and final hearing plea deadline. Okay, so it was set for a final hearing plea deadline. I know we've conferenced this case informally, and we have it set for special setting this time around. Ms. Caballero, I think we were anticipating a motion for continuance, but I don't see one here.
I have not filed one yet. I have 3 in the works and it'll be filed by latest Friday morning.
Okay, so so then I what I don't have, and I hope to have when you all file that motion, it's agreed to, Ms. King, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is what kind of turnaround time we're looking at, because Mr.
April the 7th.
April the 7th. Okay. Is that a date that we agreed to? The court? No?
Oh,
Okay.
I thought it was.
Well, just today, I don't believe we discussed that with the court last time.
No, we didn't discuss it with the court.
But
That's true.
I did discuss it with Ms. Teresa. I did receive a call this morning, so.
Okay. So if you will include that in the motion, please, so I can verify that the
Okay.
court has that date available. We'll have to see how that goes. Yes, ma'am.
April 7th is a Good Friday.
Oh, that's right. That's why
No wonder it was open.
it's always open. Yes. So y'all are gonna need to come up with another date. I would encourage you to speak with Myrna, maybe, about possible available dates. Because on several other cases, we actually did the same thing. We kept trying to put the 7th and realized it was Good Friday. And there are other holidays there. So I know we've filled up some of the spots in April is what I'm trying to tell
Okay,
you.
we'll go back to the drawing board. We'll go back to the drawing board.
I'm gonna have you all set for a status conference in 2 weeks on this one, because I want to make sure I follow up with you all on our date. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, who's next?
Judge, I have Mr. Beal here for Vasquez on page 19. But Mr. Vasquez is not in jail yet either.
Okay, so I think this is our DWI guy, right? That he was supposed to turn himself in, Mr. Beal?
That's correct, although there was, I'd said something about sending me an order, and I was expecting an order like we did the last time he went to jail, but it was a bench warrant, so I never got an order. He's with me right now,
Okay,
and he can be there at 5 o'clock at the jail.
okay, so he's gonna turn himself in, so he just needs to turn himself in, I guess. I don't know how they coordinate that. I mean, sometimes, if he to turn himself in here, they can help you out, but I guess we'll just wait to see. Do we have any future settings?
Do you want me to send him down to the courthouse, or?
Well, how do you do it, Mr. Marufo? Do you usually book him, or how do you do it?
If there's a bench warrant out, warrants should have a copy on it on file, so all he has to do is turn himself in downtown and they'll book him.
Okay, well, there
The
you go.
details.
Hey,
Okay.
could you step over here? I just want to make sure. This is.
I remember
back
him.
down a little bit. He's
Got it.
here and he heard the judge's words, and so he will go. He needs to make arrangements for his truck, but then he'll be down there by 5.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Who's next?
On
Honor.
page-
Monday,
on
Mr. Macias, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, bye.
On page 20, Judge, annex, we have Villarreal, Manuel Villarreal.
Mr. Avalar, is this your client?
Hi, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. All right,
You-
let's go.
In cause number 2022-0D01581, State of Texas versus Manuel Villarreal, announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rock on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
And Daniel Avalar for Manuel Villarreal. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, and Mr. Villarreal is appearing from the jail annex. We're scheduled for a bond hearing today. What is his current bond?
Judge, I believe it is at $300,000. Even Steven.
Okay, Mr. Avalar, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge.
Hold on a second. Have we had a bond hearing on him before?
Judge, I think we have way back in June.
That far along? I feel like, because it was 100,000 each victim, right? That's what his bond was?
I don't recall the breakdown, Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it sounds logical enough because there's two.
Oh, there's two?
Alleged victims. 4 counts, 2 alleged victims.
Okay, go ahead.
So, and Judge, part of the problem back then was he was held on a parole hold in any of, but he has since discharged, completely discharged from that TDC trip, Your Honor.
Okay.
And this is what's holding him.
Okay.
Your Honor, Mr. Villarreal is about 37 years old, and it's the usual stuff, like he's local, Your Honor, from El Paso County. His family's here. I've had the pleasure of speaking to his wife, Andrea, and she cannot come up with the funds to secure the bond, his release, Judge. He is the owner and proprietor of a company called Camel Towing, where he is also employed, Judge. He drives for them. He has a stepdaughter with Andrea, who also lives at home, Judge. And he also has a father here, Judge, family here. So, Judge, I think I guess what I'm trying to say, Judge, is his flight risk, Judge, is rather on the minimal side. I know his recommendation is time, but he's done that time, Your Honor, before. Judge, I've also been in talks with the DA's office in this case. I believe on at least one complaining witness they cannot locate. So that may leave just one. And not to argue the facts here, Judge, but facts are kind of weird, Judge, because upon information and belief, the complaining witness are actually friends of neighbors. So it's like friends of friends. So he's not even around them. He's not, and there was some bickering back and forth about how my client was driving and those kinds of things, Judge. So, Judge, yeah, he's been in custody for some time. I think since April of this year, Judge. And we're asking that this bond be reduced from $300,000, Your Honor, to $30,000 cash and surety, Your Honor, respectfully, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Rago.
Your Honor, the state respectfully opposes a reduction. He does have significant criminal history. He is habitualized. The first pen trip was in 2002. It was a burglary of a hab where he did 10 TDC. The second pen trip was in 2013. It was a sex offender, and that was 8 TDC that was run concurrent with an ag assault, in addition to a 2014 obstruction or retaliation that was also run concurrent, which is 8 TDC. My understanding, the defendant was driving fast past the 2 CWs. One of the CWs yells at the defendant to slow down, turns around, and then pulls out a gun. In addition, there was the charge for unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And so the state is concerned about the safety of the victims. We have had contact with one of the CWs, and we're currently in the process of locating the other CW, Your Honor.
So all the complainants are like neighbors, or no?
No, ma'am. Ms. Rago, may I?
Go ahead.
So I think what it is, Judge, is he has neighbors from down the street, maybe even a little further than that, who had invited friends of those neighbors.
Got it.
And that's the connection. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Cream and a soda.
Were we expecting another, was there something else coming up? I heard you say something about unlawful possession.
That's a charge that's already included in this case, Your Honor.
It is, it's here.
It's
Oh,
counsel.
yes, there it is. Got it. Okay, so it's 1, 2, yeah, it was 100,000. Okay. When are we set for trial? Can you tell me that?
Yes, Your Honor. March 3rd, 2023.
All right, I'll go ahead and grant the request to reduce the bond, but it's not going to be by that much, Mr. Avelar. It's going to be 150,000 split bond, 100,000 cash surety, 50,000 PR. The PR component is going to require weekly reporting, no contact, and not be in any proximity to any of the complainants. Obviously, he's not to be possessing any weapons or ammunition, may not leave El Paso County or change his place of residence without court permission, subject to testing, curfew 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless he is working.
Judge, can you tell me the split again? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry? What are you asking for?
What's the split again?
It's 150 split 100 cash surety, 50,000 PR. Any other conditions, Ms. Rago, that I haven't listed?
Curfew, Your Honor.
Okay, I put the curfew. Was there any allegation he was drinking or anything like that? No? All right.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. That'll be the order on the bond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Who's next?
Bottom of page 18, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Annex, may we have Regina Montes?
All right. What?
In cause number 2022-0D02356, State of Texas versus Regina Montes. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. Seats ready, Your Honor.
Williams on behalf of Regina Montes. We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, we're scheduled for a bond hearing. Ms. Montes is appearing from the jail annex. I believe her bond is $100,000. Mr. Williams, you may proceed.
Judge, my client has been incarcerated since July 1st, 2022. Her father recently died. We were recently able to get in touch with the complaining witness who signed a non-prosecution statement, which has been filed with the court, which also contains a picture of him actually signing the non-prosecution statement. And Mr. Yanis Lattes, rather, says in that affidavit that Ms. Montes had nothing to do with the shooting. He told me some things that then he didn't want to put in the written affidavit because he didn't want to get in trouble. He says they were using drugs, that he was using drugs. And there had been an incident between he and his girlfriend. But he did put in the statement that Ms. Montes didn't have anything to do with him being shot, and he does not want to prosecute her. What happened in this particular case, Judge, is that Mr. Lattes, who has warrants out for him, was assaulting his girlfriend, and Ms. Montes tried to intervene. At the time of her arrest, she actually had a broken arm from her injuries, which was a few days after the incident. Mr. Lattes initially said she was one of the people that was there, and that she told some other guys to shoot him or something to that effect. But that's not really what happened. He admitted that that's not really what happened. Ms. Montes, as I said, Judge, has been locked up almost 5 months. Her father recently passed. She's the only daughter and needs to get out as soon as possible to take care of business. Mr. Lottis will not be appearing for trial, and the state's recommendation is now probation, and I don't want my client to have to plead guilty to get out, Judge. And I would ask the court to reduce her bond and give her a PR bond. She doesn't have a job or any way to pay, and now that her father's deceased, she's got no money.
Okay, Ms. Rago?
Your Honor, the state respectfully opposes a full PR bond. Ms. Montes does have some criminal history. There was a DWI, let me see what year that was, sorry. In 2008, possession of controlled substance, PG1 less than 1 gram. That was a state jail, that was 6 months. In addition, there was an evading arrest with a vehicle, which was a pen trip, and she did 2 TDC. That being said, I did receive Mr. Williams's non-pros, and hence why the change from TDC to probation, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with Ms. Montes, I believe. She's set for trial in April. No. The request to reduce the bond is denied. Thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Judge.
Who's next?
Up on page 19, Judge. And next, may we have Joseph Rodriguez?
Ready?
In cause number 2019-0D03583 and 2022-0D00564, State of Texas versus Joseph Rodriguez. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas. The state is ready.
Christopher Hernandez and Myrna Pages for Mr. Rodriguez. We're ready as well.
Okay, and Mr. Rodriguez is appearing from the jail annex. We are scheduled today. Let me see, for final judges conference because there's a probation case in the 2022 case. And we're set for trial in January. I did see the motion for additional GSR testing. I believe the public defenders filed. Let me ask, what's the rec on this case?
Your Honor, it's going to be 30 years TDC to run concurrent with the probation robbery case.
Is that a new rec, or has that one been on the table?
Your Honor, this is the first, I guess, a new rec. I did communicate that with Ms. Pages yesterday.
Okay. So how are we looking for trial in January?
Your Honor, we really need to get that GSR testing done. In DPS's email, they said they would require a court order to do it on a shooting victim. If the DA's office doesn't want to send it to DPS, under Eckerd, we have an absolute right to testing. So we would like the kid to have it tested ourselves if the state isn't going to submit that to DPS.
Has there been a process initiated by the DA's office? I mean, did you all make a request that the DA's do that, or no? Did you just file your motion?
We just filed our motion. We got a response back that DPS wasn't going to do it.
And Your Honor, I did a request from DPS if we can have that submitted for GSR testing, and I got denied. Their reasoning behind it, and it is in their policy, that they don't test GSR on the actual victim, the deceased, because it's on him. He's what is there to show, but that was their response. So that's what, and I do see the order or the motion, defense's motion. I believe that was the 18th.
Okay.
In DPS's response, they said they would test it with a court order.
Right, okay. My concern is gonna be that, you all filed this request in November 18th, so a couple of weeks ago. So I gotta think, it's not something they're gonna turn around in like 6 weeks, is it?
I seriously doubt it.
No, Your Honor, I believe they submit those to Austin.
Mm-hmm. So, so your client, realizes, that's almost, if we're gonna wait on this, it means that we're gonna end up passing that trial date. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. This is incredibly important. There's also some other stuff we're looking into right now.
Okay. So, I did review the motion, signed off on the order. I just kind of had it here just to see, what it was going to mean. It's going to mean a trial delay. All right, so I'll go ahead and send that over to Myrna so we can get that filed. We're going to keep the settings the same for now. I'm not sure, Ms. King, if they will be responding to you with updates. I need you all to kind of be on the same page. In other words, communicating, or maybe they communicate that or process to everybody. I'm not sure how they do that. But let me look at our dates. We come back when? Oh, we don't come back until the final hearing plea deadline. Is that right? Yeah.
I believe so.
So we're not going to do that. We're going to come back on January 10th at 3 p.m. That will be our status to have an update on the testing. Please be prepared to, I guess, based on the information that we'll have regarding the testing, to have a prospective suggestion on a trial reset. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Understate.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
What's
Bottom
next?
of page 19, Judge. Annex, may we have Villanueva, Daniel Villanueva?
Okay, go ahead.
In cause number 2019-0D06356, State of Texas versus Daniel Villanueva. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rugg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Brent Stevens for Mr. Villanueva, and we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Villanueva is appearing from the jail annex. I'm sorry, Carla, is this the one that you're messaging me on?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize.
Okay, you want to go ahead and give me a summary on him?
Yes. Mr. Villanueva was placed on probation back on June 9th, 2020 for 2 years for the possession charge. Your Honor, his case has expired as of June 8th, 2022. There is an active NTR filed with KPS. The allegations were based on a failure to report. Mr. Villanueva reported once back in 2020, and then he reported by phone in 2020 So he reported once in 2020, and then he stopped reporting, and then he started reporting by phone effective January 6, 2021, and then thereafter he's reported February, March, April, May, June 2021, and then he started failing to report again come July 2021 to present, or until the case expired.
Okay.
There is failure to submit testing when instructed, well, back in the June 2020 date. There is no community service or 60 hours that were ordered, he didn't complete. And there was a drug offender education class, which was not completed as well.
Right. So were we ever, okay, so Mr. Stevens, I have you down for both a probation status and a bond hearing. You want to go on your bond? Do we have a number for a revo, Ms. Drago? Have we looked at this one before?
Yes, Your Honor. 6 months, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. You want to go on your bond hearing, Mr. Stevens?
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, currently Mr. Villanueva is being held on a bench warrant with no bond. And he is 42 years old. As Carla stated, he's on probation for 2 years with 2 years straight probation for possession under 1 gram in penalty group 1. He was born in El Paso, Texas. He's a U.S. citizen, lived here most of his life. He has an address to live with his sister if released here in El Paso. He does landscape work off and on. He would need to be referred to Texas Workforce Commission if released. He went through the 11th grade. He has a child that's 10 years old, and we would request that he be referred to Takumi if released. Mr. Villanueva is requesting to be released on a PR bond, and he wants to finish his probation at this point. He denies any type of drug use during the entire probationary period. There is the issue with not reporting. That is his number one issue that we have to deal with. And Mr. Villanueva, his daughter in California was a victim of a very serious crime. And so he had to help her. And by the time that was accomplished, it was too late for him to be reporting either. There were warrants, etc. So, but Mr. Villanueva is going to remain in El Paso, and he's requesting to finish his probation.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, you said he was on straight, right?
Correct.
And he has no bond. His bond's going to be 100,000 cash surety. The 6 months looks really good to me, Mr. Stevens. I'm not wanting to put him back on probation. So we can come back in 30 days on another probation status hearing. You can discuss it with your client and see what he wants to do. He wants to set up a contested or just do his time. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. I'll discuss it with him.
Thank you very much. Who's next?
Top of page 18, Judge. And next, may we have Jesse Garcia?
Yes, sir.
In cause number 2020-0D03257, State of Texas versus Jesse Garcia. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rock on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Edward Hernandez on behalf of Mr. Jesse Garcia, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're scheduled for a pre-revo hearing. Mr. Garcia is appearing from the jail annex. I know we've been trying to work on this one, Mr. Hernandez. What do we have for today? Mr. Garcia, how are you doing?
Yourself good?
Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Hernandez?
Your Honor, we did find actually a program that could do what we needed to do. If the court will recall, what we were trying to do before was get him into either ACT or FACT, the forensic assertive community treatment. The problem is my client was not a, for lack of a better word, not a bad actor to qualify. In other words, that's for defendants with far worse records than my clients. But there is a program, and I spoke to the former head of it. It's called Coordinated as a CSC, Specialty Care, I believe. It's Coordinated Specialty Care. She said that he would qualify I had my social worker reach out to them just to make sure he's got an opening. Unfortunately, my social worker is out sick today. I need him to just check his email, but we believe they'll have a slot and they can take him. And they do what Act or Fact does, but with people that are just starting to show, they're showing the mental illness, but they don't have a heavy criminal background. And they would do the monitoring at home, providing the services at home, kind of like just like Act or Fact. But so we believe that's a program he will go into, Your Honor. If I can have, I don't know when the court has its next hearing, 2 or 3 days, just so that I can get confirmation that he's got a slot there.
Okay. We can reset 1 week is what we can do.
Okay, and by then I'm sure my social worker will be back because he's the one that emailed CSC and we're waiting for a email back from them.
Okay, reset for 1 week.
Okay, and Mr. Garcia, we will get you out. Okay, we're just about there. Okay, but I just need to confirm that there's a place for him on the day where he's released.
Okay.
So he will be going home, but they'll be monitoring him from there.
And let me ask, Carla, how much time does he have left on probation, or has he turned, or what? I'm trying to remember because I'm not looking at the report.
No, Your Honor, we still have Mr. Garcia through July 2026.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Mr. Garcia, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Your
Nunes.
Honor. Am I excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Middle of page 17, Judge. And next, may we have Manuel Chavez?
That would be a Friday. Chavez?
In cause number 2017-0D02721 and 2017-0D05543, State of Texas versus Manuel Chavez. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state, State's Ready, Your Honor.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Chavez, we are ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Chavez is appearing from the jail annex. My apologies, I'm trying to get to the report. We're here for a probation status hearing. He has 2 cases, right? 2721 and 5543. Let me see. He's on 5 deferred. Oh, that's old history. Okay. So this one came from the 346, I guess. Let me see. Home visit, last pay. So what does he have outstanding right now? He has the 2017 probation cases. Are we anticipating there's a new case coming?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
No.
I don't think so. Let me double check though, Your Honor.
There was an affidavit for a failure to report the months of July, August, and September. And that's the only thing I could see there.
So I'm seeing January, yeah, last payments towards fees. He stopped reporting. That was back in 2018, but I'm assuming that he resumed, Carla, and has been reporting. But the recommendation, he was dropped from BIP in September. Why was that?
Judge, it's my understanding that he completed the classes, but he owed on 3 of the classes, the fee for 3 of the classes, so they dropped him. And I think they wanted him to start all over. But according to Mr. Chavez, he had finished all, I believe it was 18 meetings, 2-hour meetings that he attended.
I'm a little curious why, what is, oh, let me see. He terms in like 3 months. He terms in 3 months, and the recommendation is to adjudicate to straight. Why?
Your Honor, he does owe some fees. I mean, what I would suggest is possibly extending his deferred. He's been on for about 5 years. There was a mix-up on that failure to report, those 3 months. He did call and leave messages, but he never got a link for the report via Zoom. Obviously now he understands that leaving a message isn't enough. And certainly, that's not going to happen again. I think if the court would extend him 6 months, that would give him time to pay his fees and finish his community service. I don't know if the court would consider maybe giving him credit for the classes that he did take for BIP. I don't know the full story there, Judge. That's, my
Ms.
client.
Bravo, let me ask, what is the criminal history like? Okay, so he gets placed on 5 deferred back in 2018. We don't have any new cases. He did all bit, but didn't pay for 3, so he's not completed there. He's got some failures to report. The fees are at $60. So what does your client do?
He does construction, Judge. He's a subcontractor, and he's been kind of on and off. He does currently have a good contract with a Cinemark that he's basically doing steel framing for. So he's got a good job, Judge.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
as for BIP, I did retrieve a documentation in the case, which is a violation of program requirement letter that was sent from the provider to the probation officer. Mr. Chavez, I apologize. Mr. Chavez was dropped due to no shows to the program.
Okay.
At the same time, he wasn't reporting to probation.
So in that same window from July to September?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's kind of news to me, Judge. He's also on federal probation, or at least he was. I think he turned out on his federal probation in the beginning of November, so he was reporting with them, Judge. He wasn't MIA by any means. It just wasn't like that.
Ms. Pineda, what about this recommendation to adjudicate to straight?
Your Honor, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. But I can go back and get with that supervisor who approved it. And we can look into a possible extension if the court would grant an extension for Mr. Chavez to continue on probation. However, we would probably go for more than the 6 months that Mr. Huffman was.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking is this is where I am with this. This is a new case to me or a new defendant to me. I don't think I've seen you before. Just looking at the failures to report are not good. What was the criminal history like? Did we have an extensive criminal history or no?
Your Honor, so I have a 2017 rap sheet. There was some juvenile, an assault on a public servant, and then also an evading. It shows that it says referred and it doesn't indicate what the disposition is. And then there was a DWI, but that was an old rap sheet. And then looking at local, these were just these cases, but I didn't have the federal stuff that Mr. Huffman indicated. So I'll request a new rap sheet.
And Judge, I do not know what he's on federal probation for. I don't mind the court asking him that.
2006, hold on. I do have the PSR on him. Okay, so in 2017, drug, 2017, criminal trespass. There's the federal offense. And then 2018, we get the AFV, 2019 federal. Okay, so we haven't. So this is where I'm at. Extend him a year. He's gonna have to start BIP all over again. I will reduce his probation fees retroactive though to $25. It looks like he's paying $60 a month. Huh.
If we're in agreement, Judge, can we just modify it?
Yes. Yes. I'm basically, because you haven't been with me here, Mr. Chavez, I'm basically giving you an additional year to do everything right. And I mean everything right. So none of this, something happened and I just had to not report. The second I get a failure to report from probation, it's going to be a bench warrant and I'm just going to pull your probation. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
You only had, months left to get this done. So Carla, I mean, if they're in agreement with that, I just assume do it. I'm good with dropping the motion to adjudicate. If it is active, it does say here, right? Yeah. It was rested on a bench warrant and you've done 41 days. What else is outstanding? Just the BIP, the community service?
Yes, Your Honor, I don't believe there's a motion filed, Judge.
There is not one?
No.
No, Your Honor, there's no motion.
Oh. So then let's just modify him. Let's extend him. Extend him for a year. He's got to do that BIP class, he's got to do the community service, and he's got to report.
Your Honor, on the record, may I ask Mr. Chavez if he's aware of who he's supposed to report to? That way there is no misunderstanding of him not knowing.
Who's your probation officer, Mr. Chavez?
Beatriz Magna. So,
That who it is?
he's Nieto, but he retired, Your Honor.
Beatriz Magaña?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, did you want him released today or wait until the mods are in?
Let's wait until the mods are in.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming your client is good with it, right, Mr. Huffman?
He is, Judge. We were hoping that the court might give him at least credit for those BIP classes that he did do, but
Nope.
but we did talk about that as well, Judge, and he'll do the BIP.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as soon as I get the mods, then we'll get a release going. Yes?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I'm gonna put this for a probation status in 2 weeks in the event things get forgotten. All right.
Judge, can I get maybe if I can get the I guess I can follow up with the probation department on that.
Okay. Let's get. Alrighty. Who's next?
Bottom of page 17, Judge.
Mhm.
And next, may we have Benjamin Contreras?
So, Judge, I did sign a motion to substitute on Mr. Contreras.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Yeah, I think I signed it this morning.
perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Mhm.
Cause
Right.
number 2021-0D01785, State of Texas versus Benjamin Contreras. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rugg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
And Daniel Avalar standing in for Justin Underwood, who represents Benjamin Contreras.
Okay, Mr. Contreras is appearing from the jail annex. We're scheduled for a bond hearing and probation status hearing today. Mr. Avalar, you may proceed. Is he on no bond?
Judge, I don't see a bond.
It's on no bond, Your Honor.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And it is a straight probation. Yeah, he pled earlier this year on March 8th of 2022. And I think the issue is not reporting, but I could be wrong. And I'm hoping Ms. Pineda can
He never reported, did not report for intake, did not report for orientation. Is that right, Ms. Pineda? That's what I'm seeing on the report, case summary.
Yes, Your Honor. He needed to report a couple of more than a couple of months. He was asked this last time, Judge, There was a time, I believe, back in July where he claimed he was sick, but there was never no proof provided. And then he didn't report again. And that's when the bench warrant and the NTR was filed. He also failed in the past, Judge. It was brought up that he wouldn't report to drug test as instructed by the probation officer.
Mhm. Okay. Mr. Avelar, you want to continue?
Yes, Judge. So Judge, seeing as how he kind of just started, Judge, I am asking the court to, I guess, give him a shot, set a reasonable bond, give him a shot at getting back into society and doing what the court is asking him to do. Judge, I'm also wondering if the state intends to file an MTR, because if not, then perhaps the state can lean towards just cutting him loose. I don't know how long he's been in custody, or if he turned himself in, Your Honor.
What happened? What's with this theft? Do we have a new theft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. When was the date of offense on that?
4/11/2022, so about a month after he was placed on probation.
And it's still pending?
Yes, sir. Do you want the cause number?
No, I'm just wondering why he pled without dealing with that matter. Does that make sense?
I think we were waiting for it for a while to get filed.
Okay.
But the date of offense was after his plea here?
I believe so. Let me see. So it looks like, let's see. The date of offense was 4/11/2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then it,
March, right? March 8th, I'm sorry.
mm-hmm.
So let's see, he pled in this case and he didn't show up to probation and he picked up a new case. Okay.
I see where the court's.
Okay.
Well, Judge, for whatever it's worth, I don't think he's been down before.
Well, maybe we're going to start. So the request, he's on straight probation?
He's on straight, Judge.
Yeah.
Your Honor, if I may add, in 2008, he was placed on probation for 10 AP, which is a 4 to 200 grams. He was ultimately revoked and did 3 to do on that, Your Honor.
Yeah, the request for bond is denied. I do remember Mr. Contreras. What's the rec in this case?
The rec on this, Your Honor, it's 3 to do on the revo.
Okay. You have your number. Do we have future settings?
I don't see future settings, Judge.
We'll have a probation status hearing in 30 days. Talk to your client about 3-2-TC.
Mr. Contreras, either I or Justin Underwood will go see you. Okay.
Thank you. Who's next? Thank you, Mr. Avelar.
You guys may be excused.
Yes, sir.
Top of page 17, Judge. Annex, may we have Juan Arellano? In cause number 2020-0D02963, State of Texas versus Juan Arellano. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Arellano, we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, so, and Mr. Arellano is appearing from the jail annex. We're set for a status conference today. Let me see, what's going on with Mr. Arellano?
Your Honor, as a refresher, this initially was set for a plea. This was with Miss Velarde, and then we couldn't find where he went.
This was our Denver. This is Mr. Arellano coming from Colorado.
I believe so,
And
Your
then he
Honor.
got lost in transition. Plus we need to set him for trial. right? What was the last rec? I remember. Yeah, I remember now.
The last rec, Judge, it was two straight probation. He was in Colorado, Your Honor.
But he
And
knew where he
basically,
was.
and he was out there living with his aunt, and he's been basically living in Colorado for about 4 years. He does have a sister here in El Paso, but she has a lot going on, and she just doesn't have. She can't take him in. She has 5 kids, and she's got a lot of issues at her house. So really, Mr. Ariano didn't have or doesn't have anybody here in El Paso, and that's why he was in Colorado, and he was working, Judge, out there. We're hoping maybe probation might be a stretch just because of that reason.
Yeah, I'm not really, looking at his history, right? And I know in terms of, well, he does have a prior. He has a 2012 evading. Let's see, is that what it's charged at? Oh no, it's with a vehicle this time. I'll just say this. I think I understand the circumstances for Mr. Arellano. If we did some type of reduction to county time, the court would be completely open to that, is what I'm saying. I don't think probation here is the right answer, but it's going to be a conviction. So.
And we would definitely be open to that, Judge. I know he's got about 40 days in Colorado, and then he's got.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm time served, on Mr. Arellano, because it was quite a headache. It was quite a headache trying to get him here, and then having counsel show up for trial on multiple occasions, and the court trying to extend every effort to try and locate him. So we're at a status. I'll give you 2 weeks to see what you all can come up with. We do have one. Yeah, that's not until March. We'll come back in 2 weeks. 29th, where does that put us? That puts us at the 13th. So it's going to be December 13th at 3 p.m. I'll either set him for trial or you all come up with a rec. Okay?
I'll be on you, Ms. Rago. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, finally found Mr. Arellano. Okay. Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
I believe that's it for this afternoon's docket, Judge.